Have you ever wondered why two people can earn almost the exact same income, yet one keeps getting wealthier while the other stays stuck in the same financial place year after year? It's easy to assume the wealthier one just makes smarter choices. But what if the real difference isn't the choices themselves? What if it's what their brain has learned to find rewarding? Today, I'm going to show you 7 simple habits that quietly retrain your brain to notice, seek, and hold on to wealth. Some of these have nothing to do with budgets, stocks, or side hustles. Most people think building wealth comes down to earning more or investing better. Those things help. But underneath every financial decision you make is a much older system running in the background, your brain's reward circuitry. It decides what feels satisfying, what feels boring, what gets repeated, and what gets abandoned. And modern life has trained that system to chase comfort, convenience, and instant spending, which is exactly the opposite of what builds wealth. Every notification, every one-click checkout, every buy now, think later app is quietly teaching your brain that relief comes from spending, not from saving or building. In this video, you'll learn 7 habits that quietly rewire that system in your favor, one small, almost invisible shift at a time. Stick around for habit number 4, because it might be the single biggest reason smart, hardworking people still feel stuck financially, even when they're earning good money. Habit 1, track your net worth number, not your income number. Most people can tell you their salary down to the last dollar. Very few can tell you their net worth. That's not a coincidence. Income is the number we're trained to track, so it's the number our brain gets excited about. But income can grow every year while wealth stays completely flat, because whatever goes up gets spent right alongside it. Here's the habit. Once a month, calculate one simple number, everything you own minus everything you owe. Write it down. Watch it over time. This does something subtle but powerful. Your brain starts anchoring its reward response to accumulation instead of earning. Instead of feeling good the moment money arrives, you start feeling good when the total pile grows, whether that growth came from saving, investing, or paying down debt. Income spikes stop feeling like permission to spend because your attention has quietly shifted to a different number entirely. It sounds almost too small to matter, but the number you check most often is usually the number your brain quietly optimizes for. And once your brain starts chasing that number, the next habit makes it even easier to protect. Habit 2, automate the boring decision away. Willpower is a terrible long-term financial strategy, and deep down, most people know it. Relying on yourself to manually decide to save or invest every single month means relying on motivation, and motivation is inconsistent by design. Here's the habit. Automate the wealth-building decision so it happens whether you feel disciplined that day or not. Set up an automatic transfer into savings or investments the same day your income arrives, before you ever see the full amount sitting in your spending account. This works because dopamine is triggered by decisions, not outcomes. Every time you have to consciously choose to save, your brain treats it as a small loss, competing against the instant reward of spending. Automating it removes the decision entirely, so there's nothing left for willpower to fight. Over months, your brain stops registering saving as a choice at all. It becomes background noise, like a heartbeat, no longer something your dopamine system has to be talked into every payday. People who feel naturally disciplined with money often aren't more disciplined at all. They've just automated the moment where discipline used to be required. Habit 3. Study one rich decision a week, not one rich lifestyle. Scroll through enough content and you'll see plenty of expensive cars, watches, and vacations belonging to wealthy people. Most of us watch this, feel a small hit of envy or aspiration, and then move on. But that habit quietly trains your brain to admire possessions, not decisions. Here's a better habit. Once a week, deliberately study one specific decision a wealthy or successful person made. Not their car, the negotiation they had, the risk they took, the moment they said no to something tempting, the system they built. Ask what specifically they chose and why. This shifts your brain's attention from outcome envy to process curiosity. Instead of quietly resenting what someone has, you start collecting a mental library of decisions you could actually apply yourself. Wealth stops looking like something people simply have and starts looking like something people repeatedly do. And the moment it looks like a repeatable action instead of a fixed trait, it stops feeling out of reach. Now, here's the habit I mentioned earlier, and it's one almost nobody talks about. Habit 4, give yourself a boredom quota. A huge amount of unnecessary spending doesn't come from need, or even desire. It comes from boredom. The mind finds a few empty minutes uncomfortable, and buying something, ordering something, or browsing a cart is a fast, easy way to fill that gap. Here's the habit. Each day, sit through 10 minutes of genuine boredom without reaching for your phone, your wallet, or a screen. No scrolling, no shopping apps, no snacks ordered out of nowhere. Just let the boredom exist. This matters because your brain is currently wired to treat mild discomfort as an emergency that spending can fix. Training yourself to tolerate boredom breaks that reflex at the root. Over time, you stop needing a purchase to escape an empty moment, and a huge, invisible category of spending simply disappears, not because you decided to budget better, but because the itch that used to trigger it quietly fades. This is often the exact gap between people who earn well and still feel broke, and people who earn the same amount and steadily build wealth. It's rarely the big purchases draining them. It's the boredom-fueled small ones, repeated daily, that nobody ever adds up. Habit 5, downgrade 1, upgrade a month. Every time your income rises, your lifestyle quietly tries to rise with it. A better phone, a nicer car, a higher subscription tier. Each one feels like a small, reasonable reward. But your brain adapts to each upgrade almost instantly, resets its baseline, and starts craving the next one. This is called hedonic adaptation, and it's one of the biggest silent forces keeping capable earners broke. Here's the habit. Once a month, deliberately choose not to upgrade something you could easily afford and redirect that exact amount into savings or investing instead. This interrupts the adaptation cycle on purpose. Your brain doesn't get the chance to reset its baseline upward every single time money increases. Instead, it starts finding satisfaction in the redirected amount growing somewhere else. Restraint stops feeling like sacrifice and starts feeling like a version of the same reward, just aimed in a different direction. Habit 6. End the day with one number, not one feeling. Most people end their day thinking about how the day felt. Was it good? Was it stressful? Was it productive? Almost nobody ends the day looking at one simple financial number. Here's the habit. Before bed, glance at exactly one number related to money. What you spent, what you saved, or what you invested that day. Nothing more. Don't judge it. Don't spiral about it. Just notice it. This trains your brain's reward system to associate the end of the day with financial awareness instead of vague self-evaluation. Over weeks, this single glance builds something most people never develop, a felt sense of where money is actually going, without needing a spreadsheet open in front of you. Awareness starts to run quietly in the background of your mind, the same way an experienced driver senses the road without consciously monitoring every second of it. That quiet awareness is often what separates people who feel blindsided by their finances from people who never seem surprised by them. Habit 7. Ask what the wealthy version of you would do. Here's the final habit, and it might be the simplest one to start today. Whenever you're facing an ordinary financial decision, a purchase, a raise, a bill, an investment, pause and ask one question. What would the version of me who already has the financial life I want do right now? Not fantasize about it, actually ask it like a practical question. This works because your brain doesn't just react to your current identity, it reacts to whichever identity you activate in the moment. People who ask this question consistently start making small, unglamorous decisions differently, not because they suddenly have more money, but because they're borrowing the perspective of someone who already treats money differently. Over time, that borrowed perspective stops feeling borrowed. It becomes how you naturally think. Here's the important part. None of these 7 habits will make you rich by themselves. Tracking your net worth won't double it overnight. 10 minutes of boredom won't build a portfolio. Skipping one upgrade won't change your tax bracket. But that was never really the point. The point is retraining what your brain finds rewarding. Because your brain will always drift toward whatever feels satisfying, whether or not that thing is actually good for you. When accumulation feels better than spending, when restraint feels better than impulse, when awareness feels better than distraction, your decisions start changing on their own without needing constant willpower to force them. Then your habits change. Then, slowly and often invisibly, your financial life changes with them. Nobody wakes up one morning suddenly wealthy. They wake up one morning and realize their brain has quietly been choosing wealth for months without needing to be forced. Wealth rarely arrives as one dramatic breakthrough. It arrives as thousands of small, repeated decisions your brain has quietly learned to enjoy making. If this gave you a genuinely useful way to think about money, share it with someone still waiting for motivation to strike, and subscribe for more videos on training your mind to work for you instead of against you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.